Joy and I were just having a conversation about what things we have lots of like 10 or probably 10, maybe 12 things on the go, right? And so we were analyzing them, and all of them sound fun and are inviting, and some of them involve AI. Joy runs a publishing company, and she's now doing book trailers, and she's now doing all kinds of things that I don't even remember all of to offer to previous authors people whose books she's published, and she's doing some for mine. And we were talking about all this stuff, and then I asked, well, those are all good. What's the order? Because we can't do them all at once. Which one, and one of the questions I asked is which one is fastest to completion? Which one is fastest to cash? And which one is going to take, which ones are going to take longer? And that was one measurement. Now, the identity that she has, she is a mid-tier publisher. She does a better job than any publisher I've ever been acquainted with. And I've been acquainted with a lot because I've helped a lot of people write their books. And I see what those publishers deliver, and I see what Joy delivers, and she blows them all out of the water, not even close, hands down. But the number of things that she can do is also limited. I have the same thing. I'm building Your Ultimate Life University. The School of Transformational Authorship and Creation is still open. Not still, is open. And we're enrolling students right now. And you know what that is? It's the discovery that when you do the work, the rigorous work to write your book, the book of you, the book of your own becoming, the story of how you got where you are, you have an infinite supply for products and services and passive income. But most people won't do that work. And the ones that do, we just ran another bestseller campaign this week. #1 bestseller in 3 categories, and already a speaking opportunity and some book sales. And a whole bunch of good things are happening because people that came into the book challenge last year stayed with me. We finished books, got bestsellers, got products created, and on and on. It's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun. But you know what I hear most of the time? I hear people say over and over again, I can't do that. I can't do that. And they carry with them that statement, an identity that says, I can't. And so the thing I was thinking, the topic today is your identity is limiting your wealth. Because if you have an identity of, I can't do that, I'm not an author, nobody would listen, I don't know how, I've got too much to do, you're right. You're absolutely right. Nobody's going to argue with you. You're not, you can't, and you won't. So the first thing we've got to change is our identity. I didn't think of myself as an author. I really didn't. During my executive career, 30 years in an industry from 1977 to 2007. And I had all kinds of positions up and down the ladder, including C-suite stuff in 2 countries, the US and Canada. But I never wrote, I didn't consider myself a writer. And in fact, I didn't like writing. I had written some technical papers and things like that, but I didn't enjoy it. And I didn't think I was a good writer. Since 2007, and the divine intervention and walking away from that career and starting life over again and creating myself all over again, I'm a prolific author and I'm a very, very good writer. But I didn't know that. But I now have created myself. I am a writer. I am an author. I have 24 books. And, lots of bestsellers and lots of book sales and all that kind of stuff. I just started writing my first fiction novel. I never in my life imagined that, but I now am that. So I've created that identity. That's who I am. Most entrepreneurs don't fail or don't hit ceilings because of bad strategy. It's because they don't believe they can. And you know that because guess what people do? They go buy this product and buy that product and buy this system and buy that system. And there's nothing wrong with people that sell systems, but they're buying it for the wrong reason. People go buy a system because they think the system is not only going to solve a problem, meaning, teach you how to target a certain audience or run Facebook ads or create lookalike audiences or do whatever. It's going to teach you that, but it doesn't change who you think you are. You can never act consistently in a manner that is inconsistent with what you believe about yourself. So if you believe yourself to be a struggling entrepreneur, you are and you will be forever. And you say, well, how do I do that differently? Well, let me tell you something. There's all kinds of examples from sports that we can use or other kinds of performance. People that do sports coaching at the highest level, Olympics and professional teams and everything else, they do something that they call visualization, and you know what that is. But they do it in a particular way that creates the feeling in the body that it is complete. In other words, it is there. A person at a free throw line in the NBA, they have already done this so many times, they see the ball going through the net. Nothing but net, nothing but net. That's what they see. That's what they see. And it's never perfect, but that is a key tool, because if it's the shot is, I hope I do this, your percentages go way down, way down. Why do you think at halftime, when the sports team, doesn't matter what kind of team's in the locker room, nobody's working on technique. Nobody's working on the tools. It is 100% mindset. Who do you believe yourself to be? Are you the people that are going to go out and close this quarter or this period? 3 periods in hockey, 4 in other sports, halves in, NBA or whatever. Are you going to close it out? Are you going to finish it? Are you going to rip it up? Or are you going to struggle all the way through and hope for the best? You're toast. So here's 3 things. The hustler identity has some limits, big, ugly limits. So if you say, I'm a grinder and a hustler, yeah, you work harder than anybody else. And the operator solves the problems and the fixer carries the company. And that works for a while, but it traps you. It can't stay sustained. You'll burn out, and that has to change. The second thing is someone who's an owner investor in a company thinks differently. And that's true even if you're operating for a while. See, an owner operator, all they have is a fancy job. An owner investor starts the company and builds everything they're doing, every product, every service, every coaching service, every book writing service, every Facebook ad service, every marketing thing, every AI teaching. Now there's thousands and thousands of people launching AI services and products. But everyone that launches it with the idea that I'm going to do this doesn't last very long. And all you have is a fancy job. On the other hand, if you start it with the idea of here is exactly my path to get out of the business. In other words, to create a product or service, and then systems that allow you to elevate, have other people do that. Because until you have other people making you money, you're done. You're stuck in a job. All you've got is a job. If you can't walk away for 6 months from your business and have it still be there and vibrant, you don't have a business, you got a job. That's okay if that's where you are. But the problem is we don't plan that way. We don't have a clear map seeing exactly the steps to get to that place. We just hope next quarter's better and we make more sales. You'll never get there with that. And that's a true thing. So what I love and what we're doing in our business, that's what Joy and I were just talking about, is more steps. We've taken many. And we have a number of people now that do different parts of our business. And it's so much fun because it allows you to be the investor in the business and make decisions from an investment point of view as opposed to an operator point of view. And it starts in your head. Real wealth is not income. Now, you're going to get mad at me for saying that, but real wealth is not income. Wealth is ownership, assets that throw off money. Then you can start moving into the category of wealth. If all that you do is to generate income, you're not there yet, and that's fine. We all start there. But the key, big, huge key, is do you have a clear plan that you're making progress on to get to the owner-investor place, to get to the person that works not in it, not even on the business, but above the business. I got that third phrase. The first time I heard it was a friend of mine who's running a mastermind that I'm part of. Above the business, so that you're the investor. Because when you think that way, you make completely different decisions. So I want to invite you to do three things. If you don't listen to Your Ultimate Life podcast, you ought to. YourUltimateLifePodcast.com. And it's on all the regular podcast places. YourUltimateLifePodcast.com, there's also a contact form if you'd like to chat, because I can help you do this. I've done it, I'm there, and I can help you. The other thing is, if you want to do that book thing, if you're ready to write, you know you can do more, and you haven't written the book that captures the story of your own becoming, go to dreambuildwriteit.com, because there's a program that I have to help you get that written, published, and your bestseller. If you want to know what else we're up to, then go to KellenFlukigerMedia.com, and that's down here in the corner. Different places, if you're interested. In any case, I love you just for being here. You are too hip for the room. We'll see you tomorrow.